tweet has gone out. And I'm not muted. Hello, everyone. Goodbye.
Time, mama, they got me digging my grave tonight. Cause they'd rather see you holding my hand than the thought that they can tonight. They can't take all of us.
Shimmy, shimmy, shams for total surveillance. No means no, you totalitarians. It's money, power, respect, and the skills to survive. Yeah, taxation is death, mass murder in disguise. They rule through Gulf of Tompkins, don't listen to their lies. Just war property is plundering by design. But I won't let it affect me, yeah. Crypto's on his grind, it's freedom or die. And I'ma say it every time.
Freedom of time, mama, they got me digging my grave tonight. Cause they'd rather see you holding my hand than the thought that they can tonight. They can't take all of us.
We ain't your property, it's awfully clear you at war with me horribly. But my misery needs company, and I'm getting awfully lonely in my motherfucking home base. So maybe you don't own me, and maybe you don't want to, cause you don't know what I'm about to do. And I'm awfully fucking dangerous when you treat me like a man who has forgotten where he came from and the blood that made it possible. So here's my final offer, test me further if you want to, but neither walks away from this conscience clear, though I don't want to.
Freedom of time, mama, they got me digging my grave tonight. Cause they'd rather see you holding my hand than the thought that they can tonight. They can't take all of us.
Zombies lined up for the double jab. Buy a weapon from another lab. I don't wanna debate you, they come from nature. I just don't need none of that. If Bill Gates selling, I ain't buying. Fauci lying, people dying. FYI, I'm not compliant. Looking through their eyes, you cannot deny it. Modify their DNA, break their spirit till they obey. Take away their right to pray, and they will give their rights away. Living in fear, 1 foot in the grave. Had a career so we wouldn't be brave. This is the time, yeah, so on the line. I will not live like no slave, nah.
Freedom of time, mama, they got me digging my grave tonight. Cause they'd rather see you holding my hand than the thought that they can tonight. They can't take all of us. No, they can't take all of us. It's obvious, they're onto us. The kamikaze apocalypse, telling us they quit. Listen, different compound classes, a match to divide and conquer us. It's probably just coincidence calling us terroristic misfits with a lobbyist. Sing Molotov cockpit to the wall and sending notices to my bitch. Touching all the threatening, but they take TikTok on the terror. Wristwatches drop bombs on the medicated kids of a land so free that they keep us in cages for sicknesses that they created. And it's not just a Obama suicidal to live in a system holding on to how they're harming our kids. We can't coexist if you don't back that shit up. I'll be dead before I let you have my baby's freedom. Freedom of time, mama, they got me digging my grave tonight. Cause they'd rather see you holding my hand than the thought that they can tonight. They can't take all of us. Please don't cry, I was waiting, but I'm gonna need a little more time. So they remember my last words well. Freedom on, freedom on, freedom on, freedom on. Please don't cry, I was waiting, but I'm gonna need a little more time. So they remember my last words well. Freedom on.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and people of all ages, welcome to the least comfortable show on the internet. The system is down. I really need to forfeit that title at this point, especially when I'm having Clint Russell on, who's part of the Tower Gang podcast. But this is the show where we talk about uncomfortable topics, things like conspiracies, politics, and religion, and everything that's going on in the world. And what's going on in the world is generally always some sort of conspiracies, some sort of politics, or religion. The system is down. I'm Dan Smotz, and I'm here with the illustrious and lovely Dave Casey. Dave, how are you, sir?
Dude, doing great. Good to be here.
Yeah, I had to throw our jam back up there. It's been a while since we've run that one, but since Ben Shapiro stepping into the ring and trying to take the title from us as most, I don't know, sick rhyming political commentators. I don't know what's happening anymore in the world, but I do know that I'm very thankful for a lot of things these days. First and foremost being you guys in the Downers Club, people like Michael Marks, something, Meredith, Jennifer H, Zenger Tattoo, RJ JC, Silas Lane, Bonnie Jeffers, Adam Choit, Donald something, Danielle, Alex W, Sean-Luc Picard, Keith Compston, Level 0, JRC, Javari, Craig DaCosta, Anthony Meyer, Tim Brown, Howie Snowden, Nathan Sipes, Trenton Campbell, John something, and a bunch of other people. If you'd like to get sorry, I'm no Ben Shapiro. If you would like to get your name on that list and possibly have it read incorrectly someday, go on over to patreon.com/thesystemIsDown, BullenBranchStreets.com/thesystemIsDown, where you'll get more weird, more raw, more offensive, more content, seemingly weekly lately, over there, and get some sick, dope-ass rhymes. Make it billboard number 1 at patreon.com/thesystemIsDown. We're going to be doing the after party today and talking about some moon landing stuff, and we're going to be debunking Matt Walsh's debunking of the moon landing theory. So go check that out at patreon.com/thesystemIsDown and support the show. And yeah, are we ready to roll this intro and go out and share it and get into the thing, Dave?
Let's fucking go, bro.
Let's get weird.
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he didn't really mean that. I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Thieves or possesses weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al Qaeda.
Handle the truth!
I remember that with Matthew Moses. We are still here!
We have to say yes to social justice.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
All right. Welcome back. You went out and you shared it. Very, very kind of you. Very generous. Yeah. Good news. We're doing news. For those of you who showed up because I said Clint Russell was going to be on, I'll just go ahead and say right off the bat that Clint Russell is big timing, and he moved his time from 2 o'clock to I tried getting him for 1:30 for a little bit more time, and then he moved it to 2:40, and we're gonna see what happens. But we do have some things to discuss with Clint, especially concerning the Libertarian Party. And some debates, shenanigans, and all sorts of fun things that he's been up to lately. So he'll be on at some point in the second half of the show, and we'll jump back to all that. But I just want to say, this episode, I laid out in its entirety with the assumption that Clint was going to be here on the first half of the episode. So all the fun stuff that would be fun to talk about with Clint was on the first half. And when Clint said, I'm not going to be there until the second half, I said, tough shit. You're going to talk about the boring shit on the second half with us because this is on you. Hi, Dave. You're muted. I gave you all that long to get it together, and you still...
Awful. Awful. Yeah, I'm doing great. And I will be patiently waiting for Clint so we can chat it up about all the inside baseball and the LP that I'm nerding out about.
Yeah, sure. We will definitely get into that whenever Clint decides to drag his big time and ass in here.
Diva!
Yeah.
That's right. He's promised us anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes of his time today, so we're very grateful.
Absolutely. Also, there's a rumor that the thing that Clint Russell did with the moderating of the debate that caused all this controversy, there's a rumor that there's an upcoming North Carolina convention that somebody will be moderating that has never moderated a live debate before, and it's me. and they've asked me to do my very best grilling for this debate. So if you're in the area, it's like what 3 weeks from this weekend, something like that. So it's coming up soon.
Yeah, dude, pressure's on. You better make it awesome because, again, I geek out about this stuff, but I'm really excited to see this Georgia debate.
Yeah.
Tower Gang was there. Clint was there. Binkley from the Propaganda Report was there, and you had Toad in the debate throwing some mud, much necessary mud. So yeah, you have to like kind of, like up that a little bit.
We'll see.
Whatever.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, Clint, I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything. We'll discuss some of this once Clint gets here, but I have a feeling that I might not 100% agree with Clint on everything, but we'll save all that for the aftermath. So if you think this is just going to be a Mises Caucus circle jerk around here, that's between Dave and Clint, but I've got some thoughts. And
we'll be doing the mutual HJs there. That's right.
That's
Bring
right.
it in, Clint.
Yep. Anything new in your neck of the woods, Dave, in the good old state of Delaware?
Let's see. My man Carter Hill, he's running for Newcastle County executive, so that's cool. That guy handles the cops, so he's making some good inroads with the Wilmington community. The abolish the police folks, tend to be more on the left, but it's a small state and a small city, so you can do a lot of good. So I'll be helping him out, and we're supporting him.
Nice. And where can people find him and support him?
I think it's CHIL Libertarian, CHILL, like Carter Hill Libertarian on Twitter. And you can follow Libertarian Party of Delaware. He runs shit. He's the state chair. And he's the only one who stepped up to run for office. Like I said, small state, small county. So, but yeah, he's awesome. So
right on. Now, let's jump straight into the news. Unless you've got any reasons that we should wait. Speak now or for let's go. All right. Ben Shapiro Tom McDonald teamed up with Ben Shapiro for a new song called Facts. Yes, the Ben Shapiro who host of the Daily Wire and all that fun stuff, who has in the past said that rapping is not an actual it's not actually music, decided to rap. I have mixed thoughts on this. We're going to play a little bit of it. We're going to play the beginning of it so you get kind of a feel for it, and then we're going to jump to the middle where Ben's dope-ass bars are. Here we go.
They call me offensive, controversial. There's only two genders, boys and girls. They can't cancel my message because I'm the biggest independent rapper in the whole freaking world. Claim that I'm racist, yeah, alright. I'm not ashamed because I'm white. If every Caucasian's a bigot, I guess every Muslim's a terrorist. Every liberal is right. I don't want to talk to folks who don't get it. Go woke, go broke, no hope, it's pathetic. Approach.
All right, so it's a Tom McDonald song. It's a good Tom McDonald song. I like this song. I like at least 3/4 of this song. I've had, as you know, if you've been following for any length of time, I've had Tom McDonald on a couple times. He's a friend of the show, and I've got nothing against him. I haven't necessarily kept up with all of his work because he puts out more songs in a month than I am able to even listen to in a month. So he's gotten a little bit more right-leaning. And there's been just little subtle hints like, collaborations with Ben Shapiro or Adam Calhoun, that type of stuff. A lot of rah-rah America stuff that, I understand the appeal in times when it's a very unpatriotic season that we're in. I understand the appeal to completely go in the inverse of that. But I have my qualms with some of Tom's choices lately, just minor qualms. Maybe we'll discuss it soon. We'll see. Maybe very soon. Anyway, jumping to the second verse, this is where Ben Shapiro, allegedly, or AI Ben Shapiro, comes in to give us these dope bars. If it plays.
How you feel, man? If you
my money like Liz on my
no.
Cause I'm the man who don't respect.
Let's look at the stats, I've got the facts. My money like Liz on my pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic, don't be a wap. Dog, it's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. Look at the graphs, look at my charts. You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You going to prison, I'm on television. Dog, no one knows who you are.
Okay, so we're about halfway through. I got to pause at least a little bit. I know that I shouldn't get a copyright strike for this for multiple reasons, but you just be safe. Dave, do you have any thoughts so far on these bars?
I want to hate it. I don't hate it. I want to though. There's lots of reasons to dislike it.
so deeply
Right.
and so strongly. I'm so torn.
Yeah. As far, I know Tom I don't know him. I've never talked to him. I know you have. So, but he's a friend of the
That's
show.
right.
So
Say it again,
I'm
Dave.
not. Right. I would just say like, and this is ironic. Like I recognize the irony here because we are like so into this shit. Like everything he's talking about, I'm so into this liberty shit. I want to hear about the fucking woke mind virus, all this shit. But when my culture gives it back to me, like in this form or like backwards, it's almost like something's wrong. Like I think you called it like the Kirk Cameron effect, like that Hallmark style. It's like there's something off about it. And like I've heard this song by Tom McDonald so many times now. So like I don't know if he's able to do anything. I don't mean he couldn't write another song. I just mean like this is the thing that you have to do.
Well,
It's
he's
the
done
only
other
thing-
things. He's done other things, and they get not even a fraction of the attention if he just writes a song about a breakup or a hangover or like drug addiction or something. Like, cool, good song, but the people that surround you are the ones that came for the controversy. So you got to keep stepping this controversy game up. And I think having Ben Shapiro on, like Ben Shapiro, as far as edgy and controversy goes, I feel like Ben Shapiro is like 10 years ago. Ben Shapiro doesn't even feel that controversial. I mean, sure, he talks against stuff that is in the media, but I don't know. When was the last big Ben Shapiro controversy?
No, exactly. But like, okay, I want to give him some props though. Like if you could be this artist who just does a song like every other month with your girlfriend and just shoot a video. Like you don't even make albums. You just fucking...
He makes albums.
Okay,
got them all on
maybe
my wall.
he does. Bro, nobody knows about his albums. They know that he puts out a single every 2 months. And I bet you the people that like... all right, I know he sells records like real quick all at once, but there's kind of like something exposed here. Like it doesn't matter what he does. Ben Shapiro can be a #1 rapper. Like, that's not necessarily good for art. That's not good for hip hop.
It's not great for art. It's fun for culture, and that's where I'm torn because I'm like, even if I don't like Ben Shapiro, even if I didn't like Tom McDonald, which I do still like Tom McDonald, like I don't like Ben Shapiro, but there's something about the troll factor to this that just is just beautiful. Of just the fact that they got the Billboard #1, which we're going to get to Ben Shapiro's killer final line here. Let's play more and we'll talk after that.
Keep hating on me on the internet, my comment section all woke Karens, and I make racks off compound interest. Y'all live with your parents.
Also, Tom McDonald definitely wrote this verse.
I was just gonna say,
absolutely, yes. There's way too. I mean, it's not super clever, but there's enough cleverness. There's at least 3 or 4 good clever lines that it's like, yeah, no, Ben Shapiro did not write that. I would be willing to bet. I could be wrong. He might have some secret Dear Slim in him, and we've just never seen it before.
Take some notes. I just did this for fun. All my people download this. Let's get a Billboard #1.
Hold on.
Oh, my people
go back.
download
Go
this.
back.
I just did this for fun. All my people download this. Let's get a Billboard #1.
So even that line, that cringiest of all lines, I am torn on because it's like that is the ultimate cringe. It's almost so cringy that he did it on purpose because the rest of it's not nearly as cringy as holding your hands in an autistic manner and then going, "Let's get a Billboard #1." Like that line felt so out of place that it almost seems intentional so that people like us would complain about it, but at the same time they did. With that cringy line in there, they got the Billboard #1 that he cringily said that they would get. So it's kind of brilliant in a kind of sad way as far as art goes. What do you think, Dave?
I think you can buy a #1 spot. That's what I think. I think you can be the #1 rapper if you have money. I think you could be the LP nominee if you have money.
Yeah.
If you have money, you can do it. What do you want? That's what I think. I think that Ben Shapiro probably wanted to just for the troll factor.
I respect it. I respect him for playing along because you know that he didn't want to do this, but then he was talked into it, and
Why do you think he didn't want to do it?
It doesn't seem anywhere in his style, but also maybe that's kind of the appeal of it, right? Like that's the entirety of the thing. It's not that we want to see how Ben Shapiro can rap. It's like Ben Shapiro shouldn't be rapping. Ben Shapiro has nothing even close to this culture in a bone in his body of rap, and he's against rap. Now, just those two, like the rap world and Ben Shapiro colliding, creates the spectacle that makes it trend. It has nothing to do with whether or not he could or couldn't rap.
Yeah, and if it's true that, like, I've heard that he has said that he doesn't respect hip hop, that he doesn't like that art form, like this kind of like, it's kind of thumbing your nose at the entire scene to go, look, I told you, you don't have to be talented or even do this to like to make hit records. You just have to kind of be auto-tuned, go in.
Well, it's not really that, because it's not like he auto-tuned himself and then made it so that that's why he got the #1 hit. It's not because Ben Shapiro is good. It's because of the controversy. And it's not even because of the pay-to-play or anything, because, yeah, they both have money, but the industry definitely doesn't want them in that spot, it would seem, and YouTube is knocking them down. They've done this to Tom McDonald a lot.
Do you think this will hurt or help Tom McDonald's street cred?
Oh, street cred, I don't know if he cares that much about, but
I don't mean actual street. You know what I mean? Like, will this? You have to be cool. You can't. If you're not cool, then nobody will buy your shit. That's what I really mean. I don't mean like hip hop streets.
Sure. I mean, he's done shit like this in the past. He had like Blair White in a video and stuff, or he's had, I don't know, he's done other collaborations. This is kind of the most bizarre, and that's really why it matters, is because of how bizarre it is. I don't think it'll make him, I don't know, like it'll help him immediately because obviously, it blew up because of the controversy. But this is stepping the bar up again in a way that is dipping even further into the political shit. And like, what do you do now? Have Nick Fuentes on the next Tom McDonald song?
Right.
Where do you go from here? Not that Ben Shapiro is the peak of gets for features on a rap song, but as far as like the controversy goes, I don't know. What do you do from here?
Probably get Clint Russell, VP candidate, to come
can talk about his Be Home.
Bars. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so all in all, like all things considered, as far as like for the sake of art, you asked like, is this a net positive for art earlier? I don't necessarily think so, but I don't think anything really on the Billboard 100 is that much of a net positive as far as people being unique and creative. So in some ways, it's more unique and creative than the latest Taylor Swift song. So I don't know. Do you think that this is like there's so many factors to it? Well, I don't think it's a psyop.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll get into Taylor Swift later, but yeah. Do you think that this is? I don't even know the answer to this myself. But is this good or is this not good? Because part of it is so brilliantly trolly good that it overshadows the cringe factor, and it kind of just makes me love our timeline. That's all.
No, that's true. I'm here for the show at this point. You don't have to like love that song. I just wish it wasn't Ben Shapiro, because I was going to say the H word. I don't hate Ben Shapiro, but he's one of the worst, man. He's a great big faker, grifter, faker. He does a disservice to people that care about liberty. It's not independent media. Like you could roll it up in that big ball if you want, but like this guy is not.
Yeah.
So I wish it was somebody else, but that's cool that Tom McDonald can do whatever he wants, and I can put anybody on. I'll write his bars, and I'll troll some people, and it'll go to #1. That's a pretty cool position that he's in. I'll say that, like where he carved out his own space. So good for him.
For sure. Yeah, I'll hand that to him. Now there are a couple lines in there. Aside from the Billboard #1, he takes shots at Nicki Minaj because he had done the WAP thing, and then that was auto-tuned into internet autistic beauty. And so Nicki Minaj responded to the Ben Shapiro #1 hit and said, Ben Shapiro put out I don't know if I should do a Nicki Minaj impersonation. I think that's a little risky, but
yeah.
Ben Shapiro put out a disc record. He said his comment section are filled with woke Karens. This song is #1 on US iTunes. Ha 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 ha. Cry, 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 cry. What is really happening, and whose is that other man rapping? Is this real life? He said, Nikki, take some notes. Nah. Ha, 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 ha. Ayo. Nah. Burn. Sick burn. So Nicki Minaj, I mean, it was kind of a dig at Tom McDonald for sure. She said, good on him for having fun, and who is Tom McDonald? So, I mean, of course, Nicki Minaj knows who Tom McDonald is by now, but I don't know.
I was going to wonder if she does. Like, I wonder if she actually does. Dude,
I mean, how many Billboard number ones do you need to sneak into, create controversy, and then bounce out, and then sneak back in and bounce out? Like, surely his name has come up at some point.
Yeah, maybe. But, like, I don't know. I honestly think that we're all so niched out, even celebrities. Like I bet you there's a good possibility she's never heard his name before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but he is totally independent. So maybe, I don't know. How many number one records has he had? I know it's been quite a few, probably 4 or 5 more maybe, but
I don't know.
I don't think he stays there too long. So maybe that's it.
Yeah.
He's not like hanging in for like, weeks at number one.
He stirs it up, pops in, pops out. Who knows?
Gets in, makes 100% of the money, and gets out. It's awesome.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to figure out where we go next, because the next stuff in today's episode was supposed to be very heavily Clint Russell heavy. So I guess we'll wait, and I will spend the next 5 minutes just complaining about the fact that Clint Russell is not here to fill this time segment, and then I will remove that. As a debate moderator, I will remove that time from his time later on in the episode. So Clint Russell, you're a bitch. Let's take some fake super chats. Joey Two Guns says, fake super chat, would rather see Ben's sister rapping.
Hell yeah, Joey Two Guns. Got some 2 big ass titties on Ben Shapiro's. Ben Shapiro's sister.
Kate Paris says, nailed it, Dave. And that was not planned. That was not planned to come right after Dave just said big old titties on Ben Shapiro's sister. But yeah, I'm sure he was right about something. Anyway, we're going to move on now and complain more about Clint. Dave, what do you think about Clint not being here? Isn't it kind of gay?
Right off the bat, I'll tell you, bro, this may affect my ability as a delegate to support his vice presidential.
Oh yeah, he's running for VP as the right-wing, alt-right libertarian infiltrator. What do you think about that?
That's separate. I enjoy that. That's good. We need some good old-fashioned McCarthyism in this party. Bring it back.
Yeah, sure. Let's save it, because I do have things to say on the McCarthyism, but we'll come back to that. Let's move on instead to some things in the news about the Honorable Joseph Robinette Biden, because he's been saying a couple things, which makes it this week's Remembering Biden.
And Corn Pop was a bigger big shot. Nazi fags. You ain't black.
You're a stupid son of a bitch.
That's right. It's Remembering Biden, where we gather around to remember what Joe Biden said this week, as he will not remember on his own. But first, before we get any clips directly from the man himself, let's see what CNN is reporting on Joe Biden's new campaign tactics as he gears up to eventually, maybe someday, start his bid for the 2024 presidential election. Here's CNN.
President Biden is employing a familiar tactic, though.
Come on.
Relatively new for him. He's hoping to throw off Donald Trump right off his campaign message by taking jabs at his likely Republican opponent. Recently, Biden has been mocking Trump, calling him things like loser, and emphasizing the former in former president.
Nazi fags.
A person close to Trump actually says that he's rattled by Biden's efforts to get under his skin. Aides to the president's re-election campaign, though, tell CNN that the taunting will keep up as they shift into general election mode.
The taunting will continue until productivity increases. I don't know, Dave. I'm sure Donald Trump is probably just huddled in a corner somewhere right now because of Joe Biden's taunting. But he called him a loser. Do you think Donald Trump is? How much how much therapy will Donald Trump need after Joe Biden goes on his taunting campaign? This new strategy that he's worked out here.
Bro, the only people who are going to therapy are the people who tune into this program to get that fucking feeling. I don't know
Are you
what
talking about.
It's
my
like
show.
no, who tune into this like who turns on CNN to get like their Trump rage in? Oh, I love that my champion, Joe Biden, is calling this orange Cheeto Jesus. You know, all the thing.
Loser.
That's
Got
so
him.
great.
Burn.
Keep it. Yeah. Yes, I'm tuned in. Just like, I don't know who these people are. But it's very, I know we hit this into the ground, but it's so professional wrestling. Like it's just, Joe Biden is not watching this. He doesn't care. And Donald Trump is not watching this. He doesn't care. This is only for the people that buy the tickets.
Let's assume that it's not. Let's give benefit of the doubt and assume that it's not professional wrestling and it's not all scripted out.
Okay.
So the Democrats have spent the last, I don't know, quarter of my life, it feels like, chastising Donald Trump for being a bully. He's a bully. He's a terrorist. He's a white supremacist. He's a bully. And he calls people fat pigs. He makes fun of the disabled. He's a bully. And we are now down to the point where CNN is reporting Joe Biden's going to give it a shot. He's going to jump in there and see how. I mean, nothing else is working. Might as well try bullying. Have you thought about bullying, Joe? And Joe's like, I could call him a loser. Yeah, that'll do it. And Trump aides have said that Trump is very emotionally damaged by Joe Biden calling him a loser. What I think is even more interesting than that is how this, not how it's reported on by CNN, but how it's reported on by Joe Biden's Twitter account. Because this video about Joe Biden taunting Donald Trump and calling him a loser, the caption that they chose for this is "Be best."
Yeah, when somebody calls you a loser, you call them a loser harder.
Be best, loser. Like, I don't know. There was something about this that just grabbed me as like the spin of the Twitter, the spin of what they do with the Twitter for Joe Biden. They grabbed this clip. They wanted to share this clip, but how could they share this clip that's saying Donald Trump is a loser and Joe Biden's being a jerk? How could they share that and gloat about it while also still looking like they're not jerks? They say, be best. Watch this clip of me being a jerk, but you be your best, son. You get out there and you be best. They couldn't even form a complete sentence in Twitter, which is not run by Joe Biden. I don't know.
He, I don't know, man. He used to be a good bully. We're talking about the guy who, we're talking about dog-faced pony soldier. He busted that one out.
Look fat. Let's do some push-ups.
Oh, man. This guy's not fucking around. I'm pretty sure Corn Pop was a guy that he bullied, probably racially, if I'm guessing. He just kind of switched it around later in life to tell a different story.
Yep.
But, this is an absolute bully. I think he bullied probably his wife the majority of the time they've been together,
his
and
son,
his kids.
His daughter.
Bullying. Talk
Lots
about
of
bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of bullying. Yeah. So, he's bringing it back for the last election of his lifetime.
Yep.
Stick with what works, I guess.
Yep. Let's see. We've got Joey Two Gun says, fake super chat. Clint's late because he knows we need a buffer between cringy white rappers.
Oh, yo. That hurts, but also very fair.
Come on, man.
All right. Now back to Joe Biden, because this is, how do I set this up now? Joe Biden posted this the other day on his Twitter account, or, aides close to Joe Biden posted this to Joe Biden's Twitter account. Joe Biden said, and I quote, "I know how hard it is some days to sweep the clouds away and get to sunnier days. Our friend Elmo is right. We have to be there for each other, offer our help to a neighbor in need, and above all else, ask for help when we need it. Even though it's hard, you're never alone." Elmo. He was responding to Elmo. Our friend Elmo. Joe Biden took time out of his busy schedule of bombing Iran and the Palestinians and Russia to inform us that the Elmo Twitter account did something nice, because this is all fake. Elmo had posted what.
Well, Elmo's glad he asked. Elmo learned that it is important to ask a friend how they are doing. Elmo will check in again. Friends, Elmo loves you. #emotional wellbeing. BetterHelp.com for more information.
Nailed it. Yeah, I didn't know you had an Elmo.
We all have an Elmo deep inside of us, especially Joe
really
Biden.
Good. That was really good, bro. I get this is actually crazy. This is whoever the aide is, whoever the people that run this account, they don't know that adults use Twitter. Like,
or worse, they want kids to use Twitter, because why is there even an Elmo account?
Yeah, and why isn't, like, you could almost see if it was like, all right, if Sesame Street or Elmo or something retweeted the president, like, oh, here's a message from our president. Like, that would make way more sense than the president being like, listen, guys, we need to listen to Elmo right now. That's crazy.
Yep. I love our timeline and hate it at the same time. And just a reminder, the president of the United States quote tweeted Elmo, quoted the Sesame Street lyrics, and said that our friend Elmo is right. Now, what is this? I mean, to dig deeper, because obviously this is important since the president of the United States quote tweeted it. What concerning thing must Elmo be referring to? Actually, before we get into that, before we get into what he's talking about, I just wanted to point out here on the Elmo post that the first response is from NASA, who is also a very serious organization, where they said, thanks for checking in, Elmo, reminding you all that you are made of star stuff. So, thanks for checking in with us, Elmo. Also, there is no God. Good night, everyone. So let's see what the big message was that warranted the presidential response here. Elmo said, wow. Or no, we already read that. But all of his friends here decided to share it because apparently there's a Bert Twitter, there's a Snuffleupagus Twitter, there's a Grover Twitter, there's an Oscar the Grouch Twitter, and an Ernie Twitter. Will I do all their voices? No. Bert said, I'm here if you ever... I don't have a Bert. I'm here if you ever need a shoulder to lean on. I'll make us both a warm cup of tea. Okay, that's okay enough. So, I mean, obviously, Elmo posted this as a desperate cry for help for all of his friends to come out here and really rally around him like he's a white woman. But Snuffleupagus says, I love being a Snuffleupagus because I have huge ears that are made to listen to you. Share your feelings.
Hey, bird.
Grover says, I, Grover, am here to be a good listener whenever you need it. Oscar the Grouch said, I'm not great at listening to others share their big feelings, but my worm Slimy is. Now, not all friends get like social cues, and this, I don't know, something about this seems like code to me. I'm not great at listening to others share their big feelings, but my worm Slimy is. You should talk with him if you ever need to chat.
Is this leading us to some dark web corner of the dark web, like that website on last episode?
No spoilers, Dave. Ernie says, if you ever need some cheering up, let me know. I love making others smile. Now, this is all, again, in response to Elmo's desperate cry for help. Any concerns, Dave? Any concerns about Elmo's clear intended suicide that would lead you to believe that the president of the United States needs to share this?
Well, you got me just thinking about like the code. I wasn't really thinking about the code, but now I want to talk more about that. But what I was thinking the whole time was, well, when it was only 3 players, I had the Spider-Man meme of the 3 Spider-Mans pointing at each other. Like if it's Elmo and it's NASA and it's the president, Elmo, NASA, that's PBS and NASA and the president. It's the regime just pointing at each other, just like having a conversation with itself.
You're absolutely right. We're doing a campaign. It's a campaign that's going to look good where we say, be nice and talk to your friends. All right. You first, Elmo.
Got it.
Okay. Now, NASA, I don't know how to launch this thing. You click the go button. Oh, there we go. And then Biden. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll retweet it with something nice. Okay.
I got you. Yeah. Karine Jean-Pierre, get that together. So that happened, and I thought it was worth a share because we'll have more Biden later. He said several things this week, but again, Clint fucked up this entire show. So,
well, I believe, I don't have a whole lot of evidence for this, but like anything, dude, Elmo is an influencer. At one time was one of the most popular influencers for children on behalf of PBS, which is that's the government, that's the regime. So just like Taylor Swift, Elmo is a psyop for forever and always. So yeah, I'm already skeptical for sure. And the conversation with the characters is sus. Like again, like this is a place where adults frequent to talk about adult shit. And you're up here pretending.
K. Paris says, fake super chat. This isn't for children. It's for fucking adults with arrested development who can't handle life. Do you think that's the case? Do you think they're luring kids, or are they speaking to adult children?
I'm more inclined to believe what you said about just like them using this for some kind of like way to converse, like on the slide. Because no, I don't think I don't know. It doesn't seem like Twitter is the place to funnel kids anywhere. I don't know. That would be weird.
Did you try the pizza? It's on a napkin.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pizza for 8 minutes.
I want to do more research, though.
While Dave yells at his dog, we will take a moment.
I'm pleading with my dog because
please, for the love of God.
Yeah, he's adorable, but yeah, come on, give me 2 hours, dog.
Danielle says, fake super chat. I am glad I tuned in for the Sesame Street segment. Yes. Good. It's good. Glad to hear it. Fake super chat from Derek Ambrose. Hey kids, your friend Elmo here.
Hey kids, your friend Elmo here.
Letting you know to tell your parents to vote Democrat in this most important election, or you'll report them to DFS for child abuse. Yes, that's it. But that's more of a Taylor Swift thing. Now, on a serious note, Dave, do you think there's any chance that this cute little tweet of Elmo talking to his friends, it's heartwarming, right? If you just saw this on like TV or something, like on PBS where kids should be watching, is there any warm feelings that come, or is it just skepticism?
Oh, pure 100% skepticism.
Well, I was hoping you'd have a little bit of warmth because that was going to be a better transition into this next one from dailymail.co.uk. Son decapitates his father and brandishes head during YouTube rant. I didn't have a great segue for that one, so I just wanted to warm you up.
No.
A self-proclaimed messiah decapitated his 68-year-old father, then held up the victim's head in a politically charged YouTube video blasting the federal government and the Biden administration. Justin Mon, pictured on the left, 32, is in custody, Pennsylvania, after his father, Michael, was found by his wife beheaded inside the home that the trio shared in the quiet Philadelphia suburb of Levittown. Early Wednesday, the suspect was charged with murder in the first-degree abuse of a dead body and possession of an instrument of crime with intent. We've got somebody calling in right now. Let's see if we can get him on the line. Just like an hour late is fine. Just whenever. That's how I run my show. Whenever you feel like showing up, you just drop on in. It's Clint Russell, who doesn't get a bigger screen yet because we're talking about the kid who decapitated his father and blamed it on that he's a right-winger. Right-winger Clint Russell here with us.
It was pretty cool.
Right-wing terrorist interrogator Clint Russell now joins us on the show. Clint, how do you feel that the guy who listened to your show did this to his father?
Was he the one fan of Liberty Lockdown? I can't believe, I'm just glad to hear that my radicalization process worked out. No, I mean, it's obviously it's an insane story. I watched it last night because I'm a lunatic, but really just because I wanted to know how it was going to be used to go after militias in this country. And this guy was clearly out of his mind. and it does seem as if they are going to try and ban militias and ultimately bring the domestic war on terror home in full force.
Yeah. I feel like we have to stay on this screen now because I don't have Clint on the other screen. When we go back, I'm going to have to set that up real quick. And let's finish. This was just a fun little lighthearted story to warm our hearts before moving into the Clint conversation about libertarianism. But before we do that, Clint, I got to get your thoughts on Ben Shapiro. You got 30 seconds, and I will cut you off, and I will ask you if you've taken a COVID shot if you go over. Thoughts on Ben Shapiro's dope bars?
That's totally fine. I think it was one of the, I mean, like, for me, it has always been like Tupac, then Biggie, but it's like now everybody gets dropped down a notch and you just slot Ben Shapiro at the very top. I mean, I've never heard a verse spit with such passion.
Yeah.
The lyrical genius behind it, really remarkable stuff. And the fact that it's the number one, rap song on the Apple iTunes, it makes perfect sense to me. I feel like it'll hold that spot for 2-3
Decades.
years, given how good it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you've heard the
it was
Marshall
a piece
Mathers
of shit.
LP,
It was
right?
a terrible song. How could you even ask me that? It was absolutely awful. I still like Tom McDonald, but man, that verse was terrible.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back to that. I wanted your brief thoughts. Maybe we'll come back to that if we feel like it. But since you fucked up the flow of the show, you go back and you rant on your show about what we said about you at the beginning of this show. Dave, what are your thoughts on this kid killing his dad? His dad apparently was a Fed, and
did this go against World Health Organization standards? Is it still on YouTube or?
It was on YouTube for like 6 hours.
Okay,
it took them an uncomfortably long amount of time to take it down, where the kid showed his dad's head and just happened to be talking about right-wing shenanigans like Biden is bad.
This video happens to be safer than any sort of discussion about mask efficacy.
Clearly, yes.
It can stay up much longer.
Lasted longer. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
What a sick censorship system.
What's really worse, the fact that it stayed up for 6 hours or the fact that they took it down at all, since it's clearly not as bad as half of the misinformation and disinformation that we've seen on the internet today?
It's true. It's a good point. I just, I mean, it's, did you guys watch it?
I gotta switch this back and add Clint in real quick because I can't stay on this screen forever. Yes. No, I did not watch it because I'm not a monster. Tell us all about it, Clint.
Well, so he opens it. I'm trying to reorient. There we go. He opens it by like picking up his father's head in saran wrap or whatever and just showing it to the camera. And then he sets it down as if it's like not a big deal that you did that to your own father.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to go, that was a federal employee for the past 30-something years. And then he just goes on this 15-minute rant where he declares, I don't even want to say it all because it'll probably get you flagged, but
yeah,
he just says he puts out bounties on politicians and does all sorts of insane stuff. And then like at one point, at like 10 minutes in, he just picks up a trash can where apparently that's where he has now sat his father's head. He picks up the trash can and shows you his dad's head in a trash can. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yep.
It is absolutely crazy.
I mean, Ben Shapiro getting a number one rep hit was crazy, but this is next. Dave, anything about this seem suspicious to you? Anything seem, I don't know, psyop-y or anything like that? I'm not saying it is. But
I haven't seen it, but I always, dude, I'm just being honest. I always err on the side of psyop first.
Yep.
If it's pushed in front of your face, why is it there? Because
when
there
in
is
doubt,
no news.
it's probably a
There's
Fed.
only spin. Right. So I haven't seen it. I don't want to make any rash judgments. But yeah, if something's ushered in front of us to see, that's usually can be a red flag.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get into a lot more of Clint's alt-right conspiracy theories momentarily, but before we do, we gotta run a little ad time and pay homage to those that have gone before us. Here is, none of these buttons are right. That's all right. We live in a new age, and it's time for us to upgrade. are tinfoil hats. Operation Tinfoil is a freedom-focused small business and trusted sponsor of this show. Their super comfortable new line of beanies and baseball caps will not only crown your skull in style, but each of these dome defenders is lined with a silver mesh that blocks up to 99% of EMF radiation from cell phone towers, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and yes, even 5G. We don't know what EMF radiation does to the brain long term, but neither do they, so don't be their guinea pig and don't wait around to find out. Get your stylish tinfoil hat of the future today at gettinfoil.com. Use the promo code SYSTEM for $10 off your order. Again, that's gettinfoil.com. Use the promo code SYSTEM for $10 off your order. Have you or a loved one been injured by some fucknuggets, reckless driving, a tumble at your shitty job, or some other form of dumb shit outside of your control? Well, fear not, because today's episode is sponsored by a lawyer. Lone Star Injury Attorneys is an award-winning personal injury law firm that achieves maximum results for its injured clients. Max the Axe is not just a lawyer, but a hardcore Mises Caucus libertarian and also a big supporter of this show and all of our bullshit. Max is the best personal injury lawyer in Texas, but don't judge him by his occupation or location. Max is an avid defender of liberty and justice in whatever state you got fucked in. If you've been injured and your ass needs saving, go with the pros at Lone Star Injury Attorneys. Visit LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com or Google Max the Axe. Consultations are free and you don't pay a single dime unless you win. Once again, go to LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com and get your ass covered. And we're back. And fucking Clint is gone again. Big timed us at the beginning of the show, came on the show, and then just gave up. Because we had to make a little bit of money while he's in his home B or whatever the fuck he was talking about at the beginning of the show. Clint, welcome back to the show. We were just catching people up on the turn of events here. Tell us what you've had going on lately. As far as, I mean, I heard you debate the great Owen Benjamin. I heard you be an interrogator at Georgia and right-wing infiltrate the Georgia convention. Yep. Whichever one you want to talk about, feel free.
I mean, I don't feel like I did any of those things, but I'll talk about them regardless. We had Owen Benjamin on Tower Gang, and I basically spiraled Owen Benjamin into some sort of fucking delirious, manic episode, which was fucking awesome and one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But so it started because I had remotely kind things to say about Vivek, and then Owen saw that and he went on an absolute rampage against the Pajeets for 3 weeks straight. And then he decided that because of that, apparently anarchism and, you know, the broader libertarian movement was also a danger to he and his family. And then he debated Bob Murphy and a bunch of us. Then he came on Tower Gang, attempted to debate me while I was trying to be funny. And then we were supposed to
stop telling jokes, bro. Your philosophy is stupid. You're an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So I offered to have him come on the show. He said he was down, but then he went and debated like 3 or 4 other anarchists, and, you know, I guess feels as if he has satiated his desire to trounce our movement, and now he has moved on to Taylor Swift bashing. So that's the Owen Benjamin
We're going to get
arc.
to that later.
Yeah, I think he'll probably come on my show eventually. I'm not really much interested in debating the guy as much as I just like to talk, but we can debate if he wants. And
I like Owen Benjamin in some ways, but for a debate that he chose to have, I wouldn't say that he held his own all that well. Right. It seemed like Cenk Uygur trying to host or trying to perform in a debate. It was very emotional, which doesn't usually work out great in debates.
Yeah, well, that's been my pitfall, is that I get really emotional during debates because people say such dumb shit. But I'm getting better at that. I'm learning. Anyways, and then I went to Georgia to moderate the debate. I had just announced in Jacksonville the weekend prior that I am running for the VP nomination.
Oh yeah, there's that too, I guess.
Yeah, and I was not at all. I reached out to the Georgia folks and I said, look, I don't think it's really appropriate for me to be moderating debate when I'm also in some ways, you know, a competitor. Yeah. But they said, well, you're also not running for president, so we can't have you on the debate stage. So we're just going to have you moderate it regardless. And I was like, all right, here we go. So on my flight out there, I decided to craft all the questions I'm going to ask. And I asked them of every candidate. It was not like I was targeting anybody or trying to topple anybody. But Jacob Hornberger performed horribly, in my estimation, from my vantage point, my very subjective point of view. And he then went on a rampage, recording 3 like 30 or 40-minute videos that he put out on his YouTube, where he was saying that I'm, an alt-right infiltrator and basically a Republican or whatever.
Correct. And
Yes. Kurt
we'll get
Russell.
into that.
Yeah. And getting my name wrong about 25 times.
Quiet,
That was an awful
quiet,
lot,
Kurt.
yeah.
Kurt, shut up. The libertarians are talking.
McCarthy is claiming that the army was.
I don't. I'll be honest. I watched this entire thing. I don't have any specific clips. We're just going to jump to where he starts, probably around where he starts to talk about Kurt.
Non-libertarians, you could forgive them for coming up with this interpretation, because here's the debate moderator, which is really bizarre, putting an extreme right-wing person that is there advancing his agenda in tandem with this clown guy that's on the panel is really weird. It's really bizarre.
Collusion.
This clown guy from a guy who ran against Vermin Supreme last go around, but this is just crazy. The guy doesn't even have shoes on. Bizarre.
I mean, respectfully, he's right about Toad.
Well, sure, yeah, and he'd be right if it was Vermin Supreme too. And yeah.
Debate moderators are supposed to be neutral. I mean, they may be, tough and ask difficult questions, but they don't have an agenda up there. This guy's got an extreme right-wing agenda as a debate moderator. It's absolutely a fascinating deal.
Would you agree with that, Clint? Would you agree with it that you have an extremely right-wing agenda? And so the things that it seems like he's taking issue with are, like, you talked about the border, you talked about COVID stuff, you asked them, you interrogated them on whether or not they had been vaccinated, and there was something else, something about January 6th or something. Do you want to give any insight to that? Why does he think that you're a right-wing terrorist, and why are you not?
Yeah. I'm not, because I'm just not, and I know that's disappointing. But the reason I harped the reason I harped on the COVID era is because, as I told him, and well, let me back this up, because you haven't seen the footage yet, right? You don't even know what happened.
I haven't seen the debate. No.
Yes,
I've seen like clips here and there that there was like a couple feeds or whatever, but nothing in its entirety.
Well, keep in mind, this is a 2.5 hour long debate. It's the longest debate that will probably happen in the LP in the entire year.
I'm doing a 3-hour one in 3 weeks, but go on.
Oh, okay. Well, and the competitors, not all of them, but most of them said it was the best debate that we've had yet. They thought it was the most lively, and they thought it was the most challenging questions and things that like an audience would actually care about. What a fucking novel idea that I tried to orient this towards what I know libertarians care a lot about, which is like the FBI being run amok, and whether or not J6 was an inside job, and whether or not the COVID era will ever be investigated and adjudicated in a court of law, and like all of these things that you can if you've totally been in a coma for the past 4 years, I'm sure you could look at that and just go, well, this is only applicable to MAGA. But in reality, it's a huge issue for any political dissident, and you'd have to be totally Trump deranged not to see that the libertarian community is just as much in jeopardy as the Trump supporters are. And that was the reason that I was orienting that way. So I didn't ask, for the record, I didn't ask or claim that if you got the vaccine that you are not suited to be the presidential candidate.
So that was the main thing. Break down exactly what happened, because when I listened to this, by the end of it, I was like, yeah, it sounds like Clint might have made a misstep in asking that, because if it is as Jacob Hornberger says, and Mike Tremont was just like, it's none of your business, and he, I don't know, like stood up and stormed out or whatever the fuck, like, yeah.
When you see it,
sure.
You're going to realize what it.
Right. Yeah. Like all I have is Jacob Hornberger, who's clearly emotional about this, to give me his side. So I want to hear your side of, did you interrogate these guys? Did you insist on their medical history?
No, but I did ask. I said, I opened the question by saying, first off, I think that it's important to understand that what we lived through was one of the biggest, in my estimation, one of the biggest psychological operations against not just the American people, but the entire world. And I think that it speaks to character and ability to assess what transpired in real time, not predicated off whether or not you got the vaccine, which I even stated, like, I think in the beginning of the question, if not towards the end, that if you got it, that's fine. I'm not like, that is not the criteria I'm laying out. The criteria was with new information that came to light in hindsight. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about that decision? Has your vantage point changed at all? I want to see if I'm dealing with ideologues or people that are actually, rational observers.
So you did not ask them straight up, did you get the vaccine?
No, and then I said, if you would like to tell the audience, feel free. I'm not going to require it of you.
Just like McCarthy did. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I said, and if the answer is yes, have you no shame, sir? Please exit the stage immediately. Like none of that happened.
Yeah, we got boxcars out back for all the
quick
evil.
I just want to say, I've watched every single one of these debates. Some of them back and forth, working with the Rec campaign and snipping out little clips and videos. The fact that hasn't been asked yet is fucking crazy. These debates have been largely just like I was going to just say like a show, but that's like being kind of generous.
It is being generous. I was going to say a minute ago while Clint was talking, like when I was asked to do the North Carolina one, they were just like, we would like you to do kind of like your style because all these debates end up feeling the same. They all ask the same questions and you go down the line, everybody gives their answer, then you go on to the next question. The South Carolina one I watched last night, the moderators did actually quite well. But I do like that they're bringing in people who are, I mean, like in the broader scale of things, not that we're the Joe Rogans or the Elon Musks or anything like that, but we're definitely outside of what the political norm is for the Libertarian Party, you and I both. I'd like that people are branching out a little bit and being like, what does a person that isn't necessarily sold it, or what does a person who runs a podcast and has their finger a little bit more on the pulse, like they're the ones who are asking the questions that people want to hear. It's not just going to be like, do you support abortion or do you not support abortion? I'm sorry to cut you off, Dave, but yeah, I do like that they're bringing in new people, and I think that it's refreshing, and the Libertarian Party needs more of it.
You had Brad Binkley there, man, who was he still hosts the Propaganda Report, but the work he did with Monica Perez during the COVID era, bro, was heroic. Yep. So I listened to just a little bit of what he did, live last night, bro. I really appreciate this guy's approach. And if you're looking for like a layman who wants to support your party, who like wants the libertarian message to succeed, but isn't necessarily a big L libertarian, I liked the way he went in, and I think I didn't see the debate. I can't fucking wait. I'm nerding out about it. I don't even care.
It should be out tonight.
Awesome. But he was basically like, yo, sell me on somebody who was paying attention over the past couple years. Like, I never read Rothbard. I'm not into your kind of niche stuff, but
a normal person,
right? A normal person. Like, if you can't do that, I mean, that's fair. I think that's a cool way. And I like that he expressed that in the beginning.
I thought Brad did a great job. Obviously, I thought I did a better job, but that's just because I know the party more. He was asking kind of more as an outsider. I was asking more as an insider. But this is the remarkable part about it. So the reason I asked this question, or the actual totality of the question, was I would like each candidate to explain to me what their perception is as to what transpired from the origin story of COVID to the decision to lock down to the all the protocols when it came to distancing and masking, and then the vaccine rollout, and all the way up until now, including Fauci's involvement throughout and where it came from, everything. I want each of you to give me your basic like chronology of what transpired, and if you have any theories as to what happened. Like, I just wanted to know, like, are these people blue-pilled is basically what I was going for. Sure. And I wanted the audience to know that. I wasn't trying to get them to answer the way I wanted. You can have differences of opinion as to what transpired. That's totally fine. Yeah. But what was amazing is that I asked every candidate, this starts on the left, and it's like Termott, Josh, Toad, all the way down to Hornberger. Hornberger's the last person to answer. So he has heard 2 minutes from each of these candidates detailing all of their conspiracy theorizing, because they all see it similarly to how the rest of us do, right? That this was fucking disastrous and obviously some sort of secretive program and all this shit. So it gets to him and he goes, I just don't see why this matters. And it was like,
that's not the story that I heard on his drive home.
Yeah, well, I mean, he says more than that, but it's like, it's totally
off. He says that you asked everybody, did you get the shot? And if you got the shot, it should disqualify you because that means that you trust the government. And he compared you to McCarthyism, saying that you were trying to destroy people's lives, destroy their careers by asking them such deep personal medical information. And then once he got to Mike Chermott, his newfound hero, Mike Chermott said, none of your business. And then apparently by his story, you just gave up because Mike Chermott shut you down. And so you would have never asked him that same question, that same very obvious question.
Because I was afraid of how he would
either
handle
you were
me.
afraid, by his words, either you were afraid, or after Mike Chermott, you just realized that you were in the wrong and you just backed off right at the last minute. So tell us your version.
Not at all the case. So I was fine with all of the answers from all of the other candidates. I disagree with them. Like I even respected Chase Oliver's answer. He said, yes, I got it because my doctor told me that it would help, prevent transmission. And I had, my elderly mother or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. But he said, then my doctor reassessed after looking at the data. And, we decided that it was not the best option for me given my health condition or my good health to get the boosters. And I was like, okay, I just wanted to see, are you evolving? Are you thinking at all?
Right.
That's the reason I asked the question.
Have you learned anything?
Yes. Have you learned? It's been 4 years of the most. All right. So before I get into my rant,
sure.
So I asked Hornberger, he gives this fucking terrible answer. And basically he starts like every question I ask, by the way, he goes, once again, Mr. Russell, I totally disagree with your, the premise of your question here. And like the question ought to be, and it's like, he's just such a fucking weasel. Like he's not actually answering what I'm asking. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
But when he gives me that rant about how it shouldn't matter. And it's just about bodily, autonomy and freedom. And that's it. Like that's all there is to it. There's nothing more to be discussed here. I fire back because I'm in the moderator position. And I say, look, you're running to be the presidential candidate under the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party's entire purpose is to defend human liberty. The COVID era and the lockdowns were the gravest, infringement on human liberty in my lifetime, for sure, if not in American history. I mean, fucking really big up until slavery or the Civil War, or internment. Anyways, in my lifetime, we'll just go with that.
Yeah.
And you have nothing to say about it. And I said, I didn't even disqualify him. I just said, I think that if you're going to be the messenger for our party, it is vitally important that you have something to say about that, given that it is, as far as I'm concerned, our job as libertarians to have a fucking good answer on this, the most important liberty infringement domestically in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And I said, and I'd encourage you to, do some more research. Because he said, I'm not a doctor. I haven't looked into it. I don't know what happened. And I was like, that's just not good enough.
Yeah. Okay.
And the whole audience explodes in applause when I say that to him. So because of that, because I, in a totally non-attack way, destroyed him because his answer was so bad.
Because you gave him the rope to hang himself, and now you are McCarthy.
Yes, now I'm fucking Joseph McCarthy. It's unbelievable the framing that he's tried to apply to this. And I swear to God, when you watch this debate, you will be like, how in the fuck did this guy have the nerve to try and reframe it that way? In my humble opinion, the reason he came out and he did it when he did is because the footage wasn't out yet, and he wanted to portray me as something that I'm not.
He's
getting ahead of it because it's absolutely destructive to his campaign. So
sure.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
all the way
hat goes off to him for being that corrupt to completely reframe it, assuming that you are telling the truth, because he did good. I don't know, I don't know if it's
tonight.
Right, I don't know if it's a delusion in his brain. If it's as stark of a difference between what you've just said and what he said the other day, is it a delusion in his brain, or is it just terror of, well, this is clearly over, so let's get ahead of it?
Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys decide. Honestly, I would love to have a watch party with you. It's going to be so fucking funny when you see what a pussy this dude is, that he would actually try and portray me as Joseph McCarthy because I asked very important questions during a presidential debate. Like if these questions are too challenging for you, Jacob Hornberger, you need to drop out of politics forevermore. And this is coming from someone who, based off the Mises Caucus endorsement of him in 2020, I fucking said that I was supporting the dude. I was not a hater. He performed terribly. That's a fact. Anybody in that room would tell you the same. So I don't even care that he's trying to, frame me as some sort of like hard right, alt right, Joseph McCarthy figure. Like, whatever, dude, whatever. When people see this footage, the record will speak for itself.
I mean, his whole shtick is it's not really even a shtick. I think he's just like, I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of respects it because he's very autistically libertarian on paper, and he has the very 5 years ago libertarian answers for everything. And it's like, yeah, good on you. Yeah. And he's like, his whole thing is like, well, they've never seen a person do this in this way before from any of the top dog presidential candidates in the Libertarian Party. Okay, maybe, but you ran against Joe Jorgensen with that message, I assume, and you lost. And then Joe Jorgensen did really bad. So you couldn't even convince your own party that very, I don't know, just very simple libertarian answer to everything, that would do anything for the party. You couldn't convince the libertarians of that. So I'm not sure exactly what you're doing here. Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to say it's sad that it took this long. These guys, I've been on this rec campaign for 4 months. These guys, all of them have traveled. Mike Dermott's been to 40 states. They've done a lot of this. So many debates talking about.
I interviewed them all last year, and they were saying the same thing.
What I'm talking about is if you Clint, you're running for vice president. So Clint understands the potential of the party, right? We're not there yet, guys, but he understands the potential. He understands the importance of the word libertarian and the philosophy. But this didn't come up until Georgia because the moderator brought it up. And instead, we're talking about opening up the borders day one when Jacob Hornberger becomes the president. What the fuck are we doing? This is so dumb. It's such a LARP. I will LARP with you guys, but this is so deep. It's so retarded.
And also to pretend like it's going to win when 25 Republican governors are supporting Texas. You bringing up the Texas thing is because half of the country is currently saying this is a problem. The governors are saying go against the federal government, and Jacob Hornberger is saying no, let's not go against the federal government. Let's open it up.
Oh, it's more than half, because if you actually look at New York, there's a ton of popular demand for this to be addressed. But setting aside popular opinion, this guy consistently, every question I asked, almost every single question I asked, he pivots to, we're not going to win with any of these messages from any of my competitors. He goes, the only way we win is with open borders and ending Social Security on day one. I'm like, amazing. Those are both the worst pitches in this moment I can possibly imagine. You want to add to that? Let's start World War III on day one. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? If
you want to say it's the most libertarian thing to do these things, fine, make your argument. But to say that the only way that we're going to win is by going against what a lot of people disagree with, and in a third party, that's going to do it. That's going to tip us over the edge. Just disagreeing with everybody.
It's unbelievable. And that, I mean, after he did it to 4 questions in a row, I was like, this guy is mind-blowingly bad.
And he's good at keeping the whole tone of the debate in that area, though. It's weird. And then these other guys are forced to be like, well, if I was president, I would have some kind of off ramp. It's we're all missing the mark. You got to find the bravest guy who was the best and bravest during COVID to be the standard bearer. Anything else? Yeah, what are we Joe Jorgensening it again? That's just crazy. It's really a condemnation of all of the candidates up until this point. That is the first time that there was a little chaos in this last debate, and it made him short circuit.
Yeah, well, I was amazed by it. And then the other thing, I did a follow-up question after he did his ending Social Security on day one rant for the third time. And I was like, look, I need to ask you this, because is it not adding insult to injury that millions of Americans have been robbed to pay into this program, and you are then telling them to just eat it, to kick rocks, that they don't have any claim on even from a libertarian framework, would they not have a better claim to that money than the government? And I mean, even if it ultimately means inflation, they have been robbed. They have a right to recoup those stolen funds. Do they not? That's it's a very reasonable libertarian argument to say you can't just end this program that people have been paid into, and now they're 70 years old and they just start to collect their first couple checks, and you go, go back to work, I guess. Like that's
Church
it's
got your back.
It's a crazy policy proposal. So
Grandma.
all I said to him was, like, I agree with you about ending it. Obviously, everybody on this panel agrees with you about ending it. But would it not be more fair to allow these people to have what they've paid in to be recouped, or to have a phase out plan over 5 years or 10 years or something like that?
Something realistic.
He just goes, he basically says that I'm a socialist. And I'm like, dude, I can't even deal with you right now. Like, you're mind blowing.
Ron Paul said, inventor of hashtag end the Fed, Ron Paul said, well, you can't, if I could end the Fed in a day, I wouldn't, because it would, like, people would die. So you wouldn't just do that in a day. Right.
Yep.
Just so people understand. Right. Like, so, but it is weird. I just feel like we get lost in the sauce of the hypothetical libertarian president. Like, it would be great to get to a point where we could talk about, libertarian policy at the federal level. That would be cool. But I feel like we're in a different phase right now, and few understand that. I'll say that.
Now, assuming...
I don't think Hornberger understands anything. Go ahead.
Nah.
Assuming that he thinks that you're a right-wing infiltrator because of these very hard-hitting, hardball questions that you threw at him.
I thought I was being nice.
Right. Like, for me, like... I do the candidate grilling thing, which I do want to have you on to do sometime now that you're a VP candidate. I'm honestly sorry that I keep forgetting to mention that at all, because you do a million things, and good on you for the hustle, even if your rap career never took off as much as Ben Shapiro's did. But we will have you on at some point to discuss your campaign as well, because I know you have a limited amount of time today. But when I do the grilling of the candidates, it's not to be mean. It's because you're in the libertarian, not you, but the candidate is in this libertarian bubble where it's like, I can't believe you'd ask me that question. It's a socialist question. You're a right winger or whatever, like calling you a right winger and a socialist at the same time, because they can't handle being asked questions that normal people are going to ask. Not just normal people, but people in the media that fucking hate you are going to interrogate you much more McCarthy style than a fucking libertarian at a libertarian convention asking you a couple questions that you can't answer. If you can't answer them, then you're certainly not, equipped to be the standard bearer for our movement and to go into the mainstream media and talk to whoever, Rachel Maddow, MSNBC, CNN, all that shit. They're not going to be nearly as nice to you as Clint Russell is. So if you can't handle Clint Russell, stop.
Exactly. And for the record, the questions I asked are really important. It's like, they're not important for MAGA. They are important for millions of people that have concerns over what they were forced to put in their body. Like, is there going to be justice for these people? Are we going to be the party that allegedly represents human liberty and has nothing to say to them about what happened? The gravest injustice when it comes to human liberty in my lifetime. We have nothing to say, because if he is the candidate, he will have nothing. He will have fuck all to say about that. Well, I'll be damned to see a dude like that doing the biggest platforms in the country. That's crazy. Like, we might as well just fucking close up the party if he's going to be that dude. So
100%.
That's the reason I asked these questions. And now let me add to it. The other question I asked was about Thomas Massie, the greatest congressman in the country. I think everybody in the Libertarian Party, I hope everybody agrees with that. I don't know who the fuck would be in competition aside from him. Thomas Massie releases the surveillance footage from J6 where it looks as if there's a plainclothes cop that identifies the bomb, and then he allows women and children to pass by it. And I ask all of the candidates up there, I say, have you had a chance to see this footage? If you haven't, let me describe it. If now that I've described it, can you give me some idea as to whether or not you think foul play is afoot here? Because there's also evidence that the I think it was the license plate or at least the cell phone was like geofenced in that area, and it led to some sort of FBI agent, and but then that investigation was stopped. Like, there's a lot of fucking questions here, right? I wanted to see, are these people totally blue-pilled, or are they at least like open to, we need an investigation? We need to, like, I'm not asking them to come to a conclusion. I'm not like putting them Alex Jones on the spot here. You have to be as crazy as I am and just conclude. But do you care? Do you think that this appears to be shenanigans or not? Now, because it's it's J6ers that are involved because it's largely Trump supporters that are involved. A fucking moron like Hornberger hears that question and goes, this guy's a Trump supporter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to this guy's a libertarian who understands that the FBI is a federal police force that's coming for all of us. Hello? So I can't with this dude anymore. I can't.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if any of these guys, if at any point in any debate, forget J6 for a second. I don't know if they've been asked if they all believe the vote, if there was any voter fraud in 2020. I don't think that's been asked yet. Like, that's crazy.
I got you, Dave.
Most people care about that. And, like Chase Oliver should have to answer that question.
Well, if you ask it, you're automatically a Trump supporter. So strap in,
shit.
man.
They're going to make me a Trump supporter anyway by the end of this. So, whatever. Hannah Forseen says the obvious answer is RFK Jr., which, Clint, I know you got to get going here soon, but I do want to get your thoughts on this before you bounce. RFK recently came out and is dipping his dough back into the libertarian waters, and you, as his obvious running mate, I would like to get your thoughts on this.
Going to get on those state ballots?
Yeah, we'll be on the ballot in every state. I mean, as you pointed out at the beginning of the show, we got into New Hampshire. People said it would take us weeks to get the signature. We needed 3,000 signatures in New Hampshire. We got 5,000 in a single day. So we have a ground team that, in all of the states where we can collect signatures. We're doing that now. There's about 27 states, Michael, where you need a vice presidential candidate to start collecting signatures, but we have until August.
You hear him, Clint? You need a vice presidential candidate. Yeah.
We're not going to have a problem getting on the ballot. We will be on the ballot in 50 states and the District of Columbia.
Okay, so for the sake of time, he says something to the effect of, the libertarians are way better, and I didn't realize how big of an issue this would be getting in ballot access. And I'm in over my head, and I would like to rape the Libertarian Party for all it's worth and take whatever they have to offer me. Clint, what do you think about RFK being the LP, being your guy?
I mean, I have no idea, dude. It's so obvious that he's like 20% a libertarian and 80% awful. So can he, and also can he possibly walk back his claim that the Palestinians are the most coddled people on the planet, like as they're being bombarded? Like how can you possibly say something like that?
Did he say that libertarians are the most coddled people on the planet?
No, Palestinians.
Oh, Palestinians. Sorry. I was reading chats. Go ahead. I'll shut up.
No, he said about the Palestinians, and given the demographic that he's targeting with his campaign, it was one of the stupidest things. I mean, it's stupid to believe that, but it's even crazier to say it. So I don't know what the hell happened there. I mean, the truth is, if he's going to want this nomination, he's going to have to come through the fire of talking to all of us and explaining his positions and explaining how our differences aren't as significant as they appear, because to me, they seem massive. And I don't think that he is at all appropriate to be our candidate unless it's like Jacob Hornberger, who gets 100,000 votes, or it's RFK, who totally abandons the entire libertarian philosophy, but he gets a 6% of the vote, and then we get federal funding and blah 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 blah. It's like I'd probably go with RFK in that situation, I guess. And as for whether or not I'd run with him, I'll ask you guys, because I don't know what the answer is here. Would it be better for him to run with some other, shitty person that doesn't know anything about libertarianism? Or would it be better for me to be on platforms saying, Kennedy's wrong?
I would not hold it against you. If the opportunity arose, I would not hold it against you at all. I agree with you for the most part on the 40-60 split for RFK, but I don't necessarily want to be the LP candidate. I didn't necessarily want Joe Exotic to be the LP candidate, but I wanted Joe Exotic to run. If he can fuck shit up in the Democrats, great. If RFK wants to run on his own and you want to join him over in the whatever, the RFK camp, I wouldn't hold it against you. I still don't know how I feel about him running even as LP, but it's clear, even more than a Justin Amash, it's very clear that RFK would be running LP, not because he's libertarian in any way or has ever considered himself libertarian, but because we have something that he wants, which we could benefit from him. He could benefit from us, but we could also benefit, or we could also reap the idea of all of his gun shit and his climate change shit and all that. So who knows where it could go? I would prefer him stay over there and keep being the anti-COVID guy. And if you want to go help him be a better anti-COVID guy, I would certainly not hold it against you. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah.
I would just say, like, look, it's nice to have options, right? Like, we control the LP for at least a little while longer, but we should talk more about that. But right now you can decide. You can decide what the function of the presidential candidate is, right? And you can take it to its logical extreme with RFK in the picture. So if you want to just stick with the grassroots, stick with the principles, grow this party from the ground up and do the long game, low time preference shit.
Go Jacob Hornberger.
Then you should get no matter what, that guys were just skirt. But find the most radical messenger you can who will find the remnant and build your party. Because you're just getting started, really, from 2 years ago, right?
In fairness, Jacob Hornberger won last time because Joe Jorgensen was the same. Good on paper, and all the libertarians. She was the lowest common denominator that all the libertarians voted for. Jacob Hornberger could be that too.
Don't sleep on Termat, because that's what I'm saying. You'll find your number 2 or 3 guy can work his way up. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to just stick with the plan, the 20-year Project Decentralized Revolution plan, then just let RFK. You should Airbnb the shit out of this party. Don't expect him to be a libertarian. How much, who cares?
Weasel your way in and make him better.
Well, I mean, just like basically rent it out since you don't have your shit together. Like, but only if it gave you something. Like, we are capitalists. So the strongest independent in 30 years is out right now, whether you like it or not. And that's going to affect your party in a negative way if it's outside of your party. The only way it can positively affect you, if you're thinking long-term, 2028 and beyond, and you'll have to talk to Karen Ann and people who know how this works. But yeah, if he can secure 6% of the vote, 8%, maybe more, if he has 50 state ballot access, what if he's just like, look, I mean, we talked earlier, Dan, about how this is pretty much just about money. What if he just came in and was like, I need this party. Here's $80 million. Oh, okay. Does that changes everything? Because truth be told, we don't have our shit together. I can't wait to watch this this Georgia debate so that I can fucking jeer at these nerds. I'm ready for it, dude. We should be doing better. Jacob Hornberger shouldn't be up there. We shouldn't have a cop in the top tier. This sucks. We need to do better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry if Mike Rechtenwald is putting people to sleep. Like, I'm sorry, that was my dude, but I'm not in the game. I don't want to sell you guys on that shit either. I just tell me, all I've been doing for the past 6 years is cheerleading for whoever the guy is. When it was Hornberger, I didn't give a fuck. Open borders, whatever. That's your guy. Cool. I'll make memes for him. I'll talk about him. When it's Dave Smith, I got excited. Okay, we'll take it into high gear. Yep. But we got to deal with that very real. You're muted. But we got to deal with that deficit that Dave Smith left. Like, that's a very real thing. And
I made memes for Gary Johnson. I made videos for Joe Jorgensen. I'm not the most proud of it, but I'll do it. I would do it for RFK if it came down to it, because he's still going to be better. Sure. But if RFK was the candidate, I'd be like, I don't like this. But also, if we're talking about debate between RFK, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden, I feel like RFK has the most valuable things to say, even if I'm not sure if I disagree with him on more than Donald Trump, but even if I did disagree with him on more, there's one very, very specific thing that he's that's his entire thing. Donald Trump is really bad on that. I don't know. I don't know where I stand. Yeah. We'll see where it goes.
You got to weigh out other stuff too. Like, would you rather vote for Chase or for RFK? Like, say those are the options. Do you guys
Chase is running a good campaign. He's running a real good campaign inside the Libertarian Party. And RFK, I see more value in.
Me too. So you weigh out the value.
Plus, well, RFK is clearly a better option there, just because that gets us national funding. And if we're going to have a bunch of messaging that I think runs afoul of my belief system anyways, well, then I'd rather it either be like true blue in alignment with my worldview, or get us 6%. Like, one or the other.
I just asked on Josh's show, and I asked them both in real time. So I'll ask you the same thing, even though he was still in the race and you just got off the tour bus with him. But I asked Termat and Josh at the same time, who would you rather? Who aligns closer to your values, Vivek or Chase? So they had to talk about that together. I'll let you guess who they both aligned with closer.
It's funny.
if you want.
It's a good comparison because I would say that in some ways Chase Oliver is a bit of the Vivek of our party right now because he's the young guy who's politicsing really well. He's playing the game really, really well. Like I don't necessarily trust either one at their word, but they are doing very well. And I feel that Vivek, he's saying all the good things. Chase is doing that too for a lot of libertarians right now.
I honestly, I think Chase probably has as favorable opinion of the vaccine regime early on as Vivek did. Like I think like they're very similar. Like their evolution in what they witnessed over the past 4 years has kind of matched itself. So I don't know for certain, that either of them are telling the truth. But and I hate Vivek's position on Taiwan as well as Mexico. I'm sure I would align myself with Chase much more so when it comes to foreign policy. But I like Vivek more because he was actually talking to, tens of millions of people. And I was like, well, if we're moving the ball down the field, like this guy's moving it much further.
Vivek is saying more valuable stuff currently. He's saying more hard-hitting stuff.
And
with
that, also, coming from a Republican who's saying, "Oh yeah, you know what, guys? I've been thinking about Ron Paul for the Federal Reserve Chair. Also, I think I could abolish the FBI. Like these are big reasons.
75% headcount across all federal departments. That is fucking enormous.
Yeah. So I mean, no matter what, I know he's out. But like, if that's the kind of message you're getting from the Republican Party, like we need to kick it up a notch. You know what I mean?
Yes, agreed.
Maintain the movement of the Overton window. Like, keep going. If you got Vivek over there, and then you had the balls to put up like Jacob or in my opinion, Chase, anybody but Toad, Josh, or Rec at this point. And Clint, I'm just saying, if we got to a convention and they were probably asked you to step up for president, would you do it? Because I'll throw you in the top 4 then too. But I wouldn't have because you're vice.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I would certainly rather not.
Well, you're not ready for that smoke.
Well, I just don't want to do it. I didn't want to run for VP. I've been very clear about this. Like, I'm doing the opposite of what Dave did. I'm saying yes, but then I'm telling everybody I don't want to be doing this.
I'm saying yes because I want to see what happens. Not I'm going to jump in and determine what happens, and then bounce out. But you, as the surrogate for Dave Smith, I have some questions about the libertarian philosophy, as Owen Benjamin would, and we'll get into that sometime. But I know you got to get going, Clint. Thank you so much for your time, man. If you have any final thoughts at all, you're welcome to stay as long as you want. I'm not kicking you out. But any final thoughts or plugs or anything that you want to do?
Yeah, I've got like 3 minutes, so I can hang out a couple more minutes. But well, first off, I just really want everybody to watch the debate. I want everybody to watch what actually transpired, because when you see it, you will realize what an unbelievable weasel Jacob Hornberger is. I mean, the questions I asked were perfectly respectful, totally pertinent, vitally important. I mean, like,
not to mention, he complains that there's a right-winger interrogating them, but the GOP always has like a Democrat moderator at all theirs. So it's like, if you can't handle, even if he was a right-wing infiltrator that was moderating them, if you can't answer the question, then you can't answer the question. That's on you.
Yeah, it's terrible. And also, I think that he's attributing much of what Toad said to my beliefs, which is a huge mistake because I don't agree with Toad on
for everyone.
Yes, exactly. but like, I think he realized that we were both Tower Gang, so he's like, I'm getting 1-2 punched by this fucking Toad, footless, shoeless guy, and then this alt-right Kurt Russell.
I'm sure Toad had some real zingers. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did, and him and Josh. I mean, God bless. I think Toad did a good job, but he said a bunch of unlibertarian shit that I totally disagree with, and I totally disagree with Josh too on governors to Gitmo and using Gitmo for.
Right. So you were getting blamed in tandem for whatever Toad said. Yes.
Yeah. But I don't believe that. so it's like, just because I asked the question and then Toad and Josh go off on some, now you want to say that's an authoritarian position or rant, fine. Like, I won't even disagree with that, but I didn't fucking say it. So why are you saying that I'm alt-right? But yeah, I would really encourage everybody to watch the debate. I think that you'll come away just floored at what a liar this guy is. And honestly, I'm offended by it. I'm offended that he would try and misattribute and
if what you're saying is true, I too am
audience.
offended by it. Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
because
it's offensive.
he painted a really bad picture of you. He painted
I know.
a really, like, after watching it, I went into it thinking, I've never been a big Jacob Hornberger fan, and I'm friends with Clint, and I went into it open-minded and listened to it. I'm like, oh, I think Clint was in the wrong here.
Yeah.
If what you're saying is true, then absolutely he was in the wrong to make that video, and it's very Weasley, very politician-y, and definitely doesn't make him a more pure libertarian than anybody else if he's going to throw shade and be a shitbag candidate.
Well, and also, the question that I asked in regards to the border was about, do you support the Texans' right to secure their own border? Like, which plays off of states' rights and 10th Amendment.
How he told it was, how are we going to? Would you each support Governor Abbott's decision to keep out immigrants? That's how he worded that.
No, the specific. I mean, I can't remember the exact specifics, but it was more along the lines of, would you support Texas's right to secede, given that the federal government is relinquishing their government granted responsibility?
It should have been yes before you finished the question. Would you support Texas's right to secede? Yes.
I agree with you on that. But then I wanted it to be spicy. So I said up to and including defensive violence. I said, if the feds were to actually invade after Texas has said that we're seceding, like, would you support that? Because defensive violence, at least under a Rothbardian framework, is absolutely just, is it not? So, I was trying to test them. I wasn't trying to give them the answers or anything. I was just like, are you guys for real? Like, do you believe in the Free State Project? Would you support New Hampshire? Would you support Texas? Like, these are all important questions. I wasn't even really going down the line of build the wall, Trump 2024. None of that shit was happening. So that's why I think when you guys watch it, you'll be amazed.
Yeah, we will definitely be reporting back and giving updates after seeing it with our own eyes. We've heard both sides now. If you haven't seen it, go check out Jacob Hornberger's screed. He's got at least 3 or 4 of them. And McCarthy, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Man. It's been fun. Yeah, we need to do it again.
I'm going to absolutely helicopter you guys out of America as soon as I'm the president. So
I appreciate that. I would love to leave this place if Jacob Hornberger's our representation. Clint, Kurt, thanks for being here, man. Kurt McCarthy. Man. Thank you.
Kurt McCarthy,
we have our shit together. Where can people find you?
Oh, Dave, go ahead.
Real quick, I just wanted to say thanks for stepping up, man. There's so few people, literally, I'm kind of shocked about, we have a lot of leaders in this movement, and I was, not a lot of people show up, and, do the work and fill out the paperwork and put themselves out there. So I appreciate you.
Thank you for setting the bar that I can't live up to, but also the warning shots have been fired that you might get some spicier questions than you're used to having. And if that makes me McCarthy when I do it in a couple of weeks, then sorry, Jacob, bow out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I as I've said, it was, I felt like it was kind of a last resort for me to actually do this. So, but I've always said, if there's a politician that I'd want to support, it'd be someone that doesn't want to do it. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just be that guy. I'll be the guy that really doesn't want to be doing this. But I think it's really important. I think we have an opportunity to message to an enormous audience. I have access to an audience that is probably only outdone by someone like Dave. So
or
it's
Jacob
like,
Hornberger.
well, definitely not Jacob. So it was like, if I have,
it really is a numbers game. You got the fucking, he's putting the numbers up, and he's already, congrats on the new show with Luke, man. It's great. Yes. And you are in with the people that, if we want to get our message out, which, to circle back to what the function of the presidential campaign should be, that's all you got. That's all you got is public relations at this point. That is it. People make fun of the Twitter, but that's all you got, baby. Flex it, but work it, but that's all you got. So
if that's all we got, though, what does that mean? Well, that messenger better not fucking suck, right?
Yeah,
so this is why I ask hard questions, because I genuinely care that our messenger doesn't suck. And if that runs afoul of their sensibilities, they can fuck themselves. I do not care at all. This is bigger than their personal ego.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
I want to talk to you more about that later, but thanks for being here, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, if you're down for
be locked down.
If you're down for a grilling, let's do it very soon. And also, thank you for being here, even as the right-wing interrogation fed infiltrator that you are. I really appreciate what you're doing. I might be not happy that you came in out of nowhere and blew up because of COVID, and I'll keep bringing that up every time you're on the show. But whatever you're doing, you're hustling, and I respect it. So even as a Fed, you're one of the good ones, and you're really hanging in there. Clint, thanks for being here, man, and good luck on the campaign trail, if that's what you want to call it. And we'll talk again soon, man.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
See you.
See you, buddy.
All right, there goes Clint. Let's see if we can get him out of here. Okay. So we've got several more things that we were supposed to talk about, but we are short on time because Clint came in late and then overstayed his welcome, we'll say. No, that was good. Do you got any thoughts now that Clint's gone, Dave? Do you want to trash him for all the hard work he's done?
No, I mean, it's a weird time, right? Like where, a podcaster who, as you said, just came in the game a couple years ago, 3 years ago, 4 at this point. God damn it.
Yeah.
They really sucked that time away.
Time flies. And I was there long before that, and you were there long before me. And then it's like, Clint, all right, fine.
Well, we could take some notes, bro. That guy, because as you said, he fucking
That's why
hustles.
I had him here, because I want to take some notes for my thing.
I know. Next time, I'm going to pick his brain. Yeah, like, okay, well, give me some keys to success here, buddy. Because, it is really next level. But at the
I think real estate are the keys to success. But it doesn't matter how he made his fame and fortune, as long as he has his fame and fortune now and has the following saying the right things. It doesn't fucking matter. Jacob Hornberger gets about the same amount of views as I do on any video, maybe.
Oh my God, bro! My girl has
trying to be nice.
My girl has an Instagram page for our dog that she just started that gets fucking same numbers.
Yeah, we had a lot more to talk about because this was all planned out and it didn't work out. But we're gonna carry Taylor Swift in the Psyop. We're going to burn through that really quick at the beginning of the after party, and then we're going to get into Matt Walsh debunking the moon landing deniers. So the moon landing happened, then people denied it, and then Matt Walsh is denying their denial of that. I'm going to deny Matt Walsh's denial of the deniers of the moon landing, and we're going to get into that more, whether Dave is able to stick around or not. But Taylor Swift Psyop and moon landing shit for the after party. If that's not good enough for you, I don't know. Fuck off. Dave, thank you for being here, man. And any final thoughts? Anything you want to share, or do you want to just give your plugs? Go ahead.
That was fun talking with Clint. I wish we could have had more time, but I think I'm gonna have to. That video's coming out tonight. I'm geeking out, bro, because I want to see that. We need to throw a little mud in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
When wake these people up, because
at the very least, by next Wednesday we will be covering this and reporting back with an update on what actually happened. Now that we have Jacob Hornberger's screeching and Clint Russell,
I can't wait.
They both make good cases, so I'm not even gonna. I don't even want to throw Jacob Hornberger under the bus, because if what he says is true, then I told you this before we started recording. If what Jacob Hornberger is saying is true, I have some disagreements with Clint. But now we've seen both sides, and we'll see where it goes. We'll report back.
I can't wait. But you know what, bro? I'll just say it right now. This is my... We have to defend this house in whatever way you want to do it. I don't care. But I've fucking been in this for a minute, trying to do this thing, this takeover and all this shit, and maintain it.
Yeah.
I ran, did the whole political shit, got in this party and ran for chair and all that shit. I'm not doing this again. I'm not playing this game again. There's some people that I think like just want to be, you'll do this dance forever back and forth and whatever, these nerds get it. And you do like that. I'll still, whatever. I'll comment on this shit all day because, I'm just kind of obsessed, but I'm, as far as like organizing for caucuses or doing stuff in party or running for, dude, if we can't run the house in 2024 with whoever it is, I'm not even saying it has to be my guy. It just has to be a guy that isn't
that
the
doesn't
regime.
Embarrass me. Like
Exactly.
if the shit swings back and forth, that's fine. Just don't fucking embarrass me. And if Clint Russell is a right winger for asking the questions that he says that he just asked to political candidates, if that's right-winger to you, then, and
We
you
got a
guys
problem.
can't get your shit together, then maybe
Yeah.
we're not libertarians. Because,
Yeah.
sorry, like, the autism on paper only works to a certain extent. And if asking questions makes you an interrogator and a right-winger, if the Libertarian Party is to the point where Clint Russell is so right-wing that he is just this evil guy, maybe we're not libertarians.
Yo, follow me on YouTube because I'm going to do a live react to that debate and come hang out. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all will. There will be something. But Dave, thank you for being here. Where can people find you? Where they can see you and your podcast that sometimes happens, or even your CBD store?
Yeah. Yeah, you should. If you come to Delaware, you can come hang out at the CBD store. But yeah, you can find me at Dave versus Goliath on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. And yeah, I'm serious. I'm bringing that podcast back like any day now. I'm gonna
do it.
Seriously, do a live react to that debate.
Good.
like a nerd. I'm gonna give it all
if
I
I'm
got. for the
free,
next
I
12
will.
months.
I would happily join you for a live watch, even if it's
Yeah.
on your stream. I don't care. That'd be
Bring
fun.
it in. You will get an invite in. I will be sliding into your DMs, bro, with a StreamYard link.
Sounds good. No guarantees. I've got a couple travels to come up, but Dave, thank you for being here.
Casual. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, everybody in the chats for being here. Come join us in the after party. We're going to talk about some Taylor Swift psyops and some moon landing bullshit. Meaning the official story, which is obviously bullshit. Come join us over there, and we'll keep the party going. Patreon.com/The System Is Down, which will begin in about, 5 minutes after I'm done peeing. Thank you for being here and hanging out, question everything, staying comfortable. Keep an eye on Clint, because he's obviously fed, and we'll talk to you guys later. Be bad, have fun. Peace out.
Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong.